We talk about the heart, the brain, the lungs, organs we can feel, hear, or see in action. But the liver, that silent guardian tucked away beneath the ribcage, rarely gets the respect it deserves. And yet, every single moment of every single day, your liver is working, filtering, processing, neutralizing. It is the body's most hard-working detoxifier. Not once in a while, not just after a cheat meal, constantly. What most people don't realize is that the liver is a gatekeeper. Everything you eat, drink, inhale, or absorb through your skin eventually makes its way through this organ. And it doesn't just passively receive, it transforms. It filters out what doesn't serve you and converts what does into usable energy, hormones, or nutrients. It breaks down fats, it stores essential vitamins like A, D, and B12. It even plays a critical role in maintaining blood sugar levels and clearing old or damaged blood cells. In short, the liver is your biochemical command center. But here's the problem. In today's world, your liver is under siege. The food we eat, the air we breathe, the medications we take, even the thoughts we think, these can all contribute to liver burden. It's not just about alcohol or fatty foods anymore. It's about the cumulative impact of processed snacks, hidden sugars, preservatives, chemicals and cosmetics, pesticides and produce, and constant low-grade inflammation triggered by emotional stress. The liver was built to handle toxins, yes, but not this many, not this often, and not without rest. And here's where the conversation gets even more interesting. The liver is what we call a non-complaining organ. You can lose up to 70% of its function before you even feel a symptom. It doesn't scream at you like your stomach does when you're hungry or like your joints when they ache. The liver speaks in whispers. Through fatigue, foggy thinking, stubborn belly fat, skin issues, hormonal imbalances, or a weakened immune system. These aren't random annoyances. These are your body's quiet ways of asking for help. In traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is seen as the seat of suppressed anger and frustration. Isn't that fascinating? The idea that unresolved emotions can lodge themselves physically in an organ. And modern science is starting to catch up. We now know that chronic stress elevates cortisol levels, which in turn can impair liver detoxification pathways. Emotional toxicity is not just a poetic concept. It's biochemistry. When you think about detoxing the liver, it's not about punishment or starvation. It's about support. It's about giving this essential organ the space, nutrients, and rest it needs to do what it was designed to do. You don't detox the liver, you support the liver so it can detox you. That's a critical distinction. And the best part, the liver is one of the most regenerative organs in the body. If you give it even a short window of focused attention, 3 days of mindful eating, hydration, and emotional release, you can begin to feel the difference. You're not just clearing out physical sludge, you're lifting mental fog, restoring hormonal harmony, and reigniting metabolic vitality. Think of it this way. Your liver is like a water filter that's been overused. If you don't clean it, everything downstream becomes compromised. Your skin might break out, your energy may dip, your digestion slows, your mood becomes unstable, but once that filter is cleared, once it's rinsed and supported, the flow of health resumes, clean, steady, and strong. So why wait for a crisis? Why wait until your labs are abnormal or your fatigue becomes unmanageable? The time to honor your liver is not after damage is done. It's now, when prevention is still a choice. It's not about extremes, it's about awareness. And from that awareness comes action. When we look at health not just as the absence of disease, but as the presence of vibrant energy, the liver becomes central to that picture. It is the undercurrent of vitality, the organ of transformation. And in a way, that's a spiritual metaphor too. Just like the liver transforms toxins into harmless waste, we have the power to transform the toxic elements of our lives, our habits, our thoughts, our emotions, into fuel for growth. Your body is always communicating. It's asking for your attention in ways that don't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's a sluggish morning. Sometimes it's that skin that doesn't quite glow. Sometimes it's just a sense that your energy isn't what it used to be. When you start to listen, when you begin to truly support your liver, you're not just adding years to your life, you're adding life to your years. Honor your liver, and it will reward you with clarity, strength, and resilience, because true detox isn't just a cleanse, it's a commitment to conscious living. If we truly want to understand how to detox the liver in a meaningful way, we have to first understand what we're up against, not just the surface level culprits we often blame, like alcohol or greasy fast food, but the hidden, consistent burdens we place on the liver every single day, often without realizing it. This is where modern life quietly clashes with ancient biology. The human liver evolved in a world of natural foods, clean air, and limited chemical exposure. But the world we live in now is anything but natural. From the moment we wake up, our bodies are met with synthetic fragrances, chlorinated water, processed breakfasts, and digital stress. Our skin absorbs chemicals from soaps and lotions. Our lungs filter pollutants. Our digestive system encounters preservatives, artificial colors, emulsifiers, and sugar substitutes. All of it, every bit, ends up in the liver's hands. It's the grand processor of everything that enters your bloodstream. And what's even more concerning is how much of this burden is invisible. You don't always feel the buildup right away. There's no siren that sounds when your liver becomes overworked, but over time the signs begin to show. Fatigue that doesn't lift, skin that doesn't glow, digestion that slows, hormones that feel out of sync, weight that won't budge, even with effort. These symptoms whisper before they scream, and they all point toward an organ asking for help. Now, what many people don't realize is that the liver doesn't just detox external toxins, it's also responsible for clearing internal waste. That includes old hormones like estrogen, excess cholesterol, and byproducts from normal metabolism. If the liver is congested, those substances don't get eliminated efficiently, they recirculate. And when that happens, things start to break down. You might see mood swings, cravings, headaches, or inflammation. Not because your body is broken, but because your detox pathways are simply overwhelmed. There's a psychological truth here too. Just like clutter in a house can create mental stress, biochemical clutter in the body creates physiological stress. The liver, in many ways, is your internal housekeeper. It clears out the old to make space for the new. But if it's constantly bombarded and never given the chance to rest and repair, it starts to function like an overworked employee, resentful, slow, and inefficient. The cleanup slows, the energy drops, and the whole system suffers. That's why the concept of a 3-day detox is so important. It's not a gimmick, it's not a crash cleanse, it's a reset. A deliberate pause, a way of saying to your body, I hear you, I see the pressure, let me lift it, even just for a few days. Because the truth is, even a short break from the constant toxic load can give the liver a chance to rebound. The process is much like rebooting a computer that's been running too many programs for too long. Shut it down, let it rest, and then restart with intention. And when you do, you start to feel the effects, often faster than you'd think. Bloating eases, mental clarity sharpens, your sleep becomes deeper, even your mood lifts. That's the power of a liver that's functioning as it should. But it takes a conscious effort to get there. You need to reduce the toxic input, cut back on processed foods, artificial sweeteners, alcohol, unnecessary medications, and emotional stressors. You also need to support elimination through hydration, movement, and fiber-rich foods. The liver is only one part of the detox chain. Once it neutralizes a toxin, it sends it to be excreted through urine, sweat, or stool. If those systems are sluggish, the toxins stay trapped. So your responsibility is to help the liver by supporting the whole system. This means sweating regularly to release toxins through the skin. It means staying hydrated to help the kidneys flush waste. It means maintaining healthy bowel movements so that toxins can exit promptly. If any one of these pathways is blocked, the whole detox process stalls. Now let's not forget the emotional piece. Emotional toxicity Chronic stress, unresolved anger, anxiety triggers hormonal shifts that directly impact the liver. Cortisol and adrenaline, the primary stress hormones, must be metabolized and cleared just like any other compound. If you're constantly in fight or flight mode, your liver is constantly cleaning up after that stress response. Over time, this can exhaust your system, leading to burnout both mentally and physically. So the challenge is not just to eat clean or drink water. It's to live clean, to think clean, to feel clean. That's where healing becomes holistic. That's where detox becomes transformation. And maybe that's the real point, not just to cleanse for 3 days, but to reconnect, to realign with the wisdom of your own body, to stop treating detox like punishment and start treating it like reverence. Because your liver isn't a machine. It's a living, breathing, regenerating part of you that's asking for care, not correction. When you understand the burden, you begin to see the beauty of lightening it. And when you choose to live with less toxic load, you don't just cleanse your body, you clear the path back to vitality. Day one of any true detox begins not with deprivation, but with hydration. Water may seem like a simple starting point, but in the context of liver cleansing, it is absolutely foundational. You cannot flush out anything, physical toxins, stagnant energy, emotional heaviness, without first creating flow. And flow begins with water. That's not philosophy, that's cellular reality. Think of your liver as a purification plant. It takes in nutrients, toxins, hormones, chemicals, and it processes, neutralizes, packages, and ships them out of your body. But for that shipment to leave, there must be a delivery system. That system is water. Without enough hydration, the liver simply cannot keep up. Toxins linger longer, waste products build up, the entire system slows. You may feel bloated, sluggish, irritable, even mentally foggy. And the tragedy is, most people mistake these symptoms for aging or bad luck or burnout, when in fact, it may be dehydration, chronic, silent, unaddressed. So on day one of your 3-day liver detox, water becomes your medicine. Not sugary drinks, not caffeine-laced energy boosters, just pure, clean water. But let's go one step further. Let's turn that water into therapy. The first glass of the day should be warm, not cold. Add fresh lemon juice. That's not just for taste, it's for chemistry. Lemon contains citric acid, which has been shown to support bile production and promote enzymatic activity in the liver. That's essential because bile is what helps the liver carry toxins into the intestines to be eliminated. So you're not just sipping, you're signaling your body it's time to cleanse. Herbal teas are another powerful ally on this first day. Think dandelion root, milk thistle, ginger, turmeric. Each of these herbs has a unique relationship with the liver. Dandelion supports bile flow, milk thistle helps repair liver tissue, ginger reduces inflammation, turmeric enhances the production of detox enzymes. These aren't trendy remedies. These are time-tested botanicals used for centuries across cultures and now validated by modern science. And here's where psychology steps in. When you choose to drink a cup of liver-supportive tea instead of a sugary beverage, it's not just your liver that feels the shift, it's your mind. You begin to rewire the reward system. You tell yourself, I value my body enough to nourish it. That's powerful. That's healing. Now, hydration alone is not enough. You must also alkalize. Because while the liver functions best in a slightly alkaline environment, the modern diet tends to be overwhelmingly acidic, high in processed foods, meat, sugar, and caffeine. To shift that balance, you need to bring in alkalizing foods, leafy greens, cucumbers, celery, parsley, beets, lemon, surprisingly, although acidic in taste, has an alkalizing effect once metabolized. So when you flood your system with these foods, especially in the form of fresh juices or blended smoothies, you begin to change your inner terrain. And that change isn't just physical, it's emotional. Alkaline foods are living foods. They carry vibrancy, light, enzymes. They remind your cells how to thrive, not just survive. And they remind you on a deeper level that you are worthy of that vibrancy. Here's the trap we must avoid, treating this like a punishment. Detox should never feel like a penance for your past choices. It should feel like a return to your natural rhythm, like a reunion between you and the body you may have neglected or misunderstood. When you sip warm lemon water or nourish yourself with greens, do it with reverence, not resentment. Say to yourself, this is how I begin. And beginning again doesn't require perfection, just presence. Even a single day of focused hydration and alkaline nourishment can begin to shift your chemistry. You may notice clearer thinking, a lighter gut, more energy in the morning, less craving at night. These are signs that your body is responding, that your liver is waking up, that your inner filtration system is regaining strength. As this first day unfolds, stay mindful, avoid overcomplication. Simplicity is powerful. Drink throughout the day at least half your body weight in ounces. Infuse your water with herbs or citrus. Eat lightly, steamed greens, bone broth, maybe a light salad with olive oil and lemon. Rest when you can. And most importantly, breathe deeply. Oxygen is the forgotten detoxifier. Every breath supports the liver's metabolic processes. You don't need to starve yourself or suffer. That's an old model of health, one rooted in fear. Real healing comes from support, not struggle. And by choosing to hydrate and alkalize your body on day one, you are laying a foundation of compassion, clarity, and power. Because detox isn't about what you eliminate, it's about what you allow to flow. And once flow begins, healing follows. Always. By the time you reach day 2 of your liver detox, something remarkable begins to happen beneath the surface. The hydration and alkalization you committed to on day 1 have primed your internal systems. You've opened the channels, you've softened the load. Now comes the time to flush and to rebuild. This day is about nourishment, not just elimination. It's about feeding your liver with the very tools it needs to repair, regenerate, and function at its best. Because real detox isn't about what you take away, it's about what you give back. We often imagine detox as a time of deprivation, but your liver doesn't want starvation, it wants support. It's one of the only organs in the body capable of regeneration. That means, given the right nutrients, it can rebuild its own tissue, it can restore function, renew energy, and reverse damage. That's an extraordinary gift, but it's a gift that depends on what you feed it. So let's begin with the heavy lifters, the antioxidant-rich foods. These are your liver's defenders. When the liver breaks down toxins, it produces byproducts that can be damaging if not cleared quickly. That's where antioxidants like glutathione, vitamin C, and beta-carotene come in. They neutralize these reactive compounds and protect the liver from self-harm. Glutathione is often called the master antioxidant. Your body produces it naturally, but its levels can become depleted by poor diet, alcohol, medications, or stress. Fortunately, you can support glutathione production through foods like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, garlic, and avocados. Cruciferous vegetables in particular are a cornerstone of liver repair. They're rich in sulfur compounds that help the liver detoxify environmental chemicals and excess hormones. They also increase the production of liver enzymes, those critical molecules that break down and flush out toxins. Now, let's talk about beets. These humble root vegetables are one of the most underrated liver healers in nature. They contain betaine, which supports methylation, a process the liver uses to process toxins and regulate inflammation. Beets also improve bile flow, which is essential for breaking down fats and eliminating waste. A simple beet salad or even a small glass of beet juice diluted with water can be a powerful tool on this second day. Fiber plays a key role as well. Once the liver has processed toxins and moved them into the digestive tract, you need fiber to bind to those toxins and escort them out of the body. Otherwise, they risk being reabsorbed. That's why chia seeds, ground flax seeds, apples, pears, and leafy greens are so important right now. They're not just feeding your gut, they're completing the detox cycle. And while we're feeding the body, we can't forget healthy fats. The liver uses fat as fuel. Omega-3s found in walnuts, flax, chia, and cold water fish like salmon or sardines reduce inflammation and support liver cell membrane health. Extra virgin olive oil taken in small amounts also enhances liver enzyme activity and protects against oxidative damage. But nutrition isn't just about molecules, it's about meaning. When you choose these foods, when you prepare a meal that's colorful, fresh, and alive, you're telling your body, I choose healing. That message matters. The act of eating becomes an act of restoration. The kitchen becomes a pharmacy. The plate becomes a tool of transformation. This is where psychology meets biology again. Because food doesn't just change your blood work, it changes your self-concept. When you eat with intention, you begin to see yourself differently, not as someone who's managing disease, but as someone who's cultivating vitality. That's a radical shift, and it's often on day 2, once the fog of old habits begins to lift, that people start to feel that shift in their bones. Now, all this physical nourishment needs to be supported with adequate rest. The liver is most active at night, especially between 1 and 3 a.m., according to both modern physiology and ancient Chinese medicine. If you're overworked, overstimulated, or skimping on sleep, the detox process slows. So use day 2 to build rhythm into your day. Eat lightly. Sit down while you eat. Breathe between bites. Avoid overstimulation. No heavy emotional conversations. No late night scrolling. Give your liver space to do its job quietly as it was designed to. What you're doing on this day is more than biological. It's symbolic. You're flushing out what no longer serves you and bringing in what will help you grow. You're shedding layers of toxicity, not just in your bloodstream, but in your beliefs. You're giving your liver not just a break, but a blessing. Because healing the liver isn't about punishment, it's about partnership. You and your body working together in harmony. When you nourish your liver, you nourish your life. And when you choose healing with intention, every cell listens and every part of you begins to thrive. By the 3rd day of this liver detox journey, something subtle but profound begins to unfold, not just in your body, but in your awareness. You've hydrated deeply, you've nourished your liver with foods that heal and restore, you've honored the rhythms of digestion and elimination. But now, there's a step that most people miss, and yet it's perhaps the most essential of all. The human body is not just chemistry, it is rhythm, flow, energy, emotion. And if the liver is truly an emotional organ, as Eastern medicine and increasingly Western research suggests, then cleansing it fully requires more than nutrients. It requires stillness. It requires emotional space. It requires rest. We often think of rest as something passive, something we do when we're exhausted. But rest, real rest, is active healing. When we allow the body to slow down, especially on this final day of detox, we allow the liver to shift from survival to restoration. We give it room to metabolize not only physical toxins, but also the emotional residue of stress, overwork, overstimulation, and unprocessed thought. The truth is, your liver doesn't just filter food and chemicals, it filters your lifestyle. Every time you override your limits, every time you push through exhaustion, every time you ignore what your body is trying to tell you, your liver absorbs some of that pressure. And over time, this emotional stress becomes biological burden. So on day 3, we invite quiet. We invite pause. We don't just cleanse the body, we cleanse the mind. This is a time to step back from noise, from tasks, from emotional tension, from screens, even from constant talking. It's a time to simplify, a time to reflect. One of the most powerful practices you can include on this day is gentle movement. I'm not talking about intense exercise. That's for another time. I mean slow, conscious movement. A short walk outdoors, gentle yoga, deep breathing with slow stretches. movement that encourages the lymphatic system to flow, the digestive system to continue its cleansing, and the nervous system to enter parasympathetic mode. That's your body's natural healing state. And then stillness, true intentional stillness, just sitting with yourself without an agenda, allowing your thoughts to rise and fall without judgment. Maybe you sit near a window, maybe you light a candle or play soft music, maybe you journal or pray or meditate. The method doesn't matter nearly as much as the message. I am safe enough to slow down. Why is this so important to the liver? Because the liver, as we now understand it, is deeply connected to emotional regulation. It holds tension from unexpressed anger, frustration, guilt, or grief. These aren't just poetic metaphors, they're patterns that have been observed for centuries. When you give yourself time to feel, to release, to exhale, to forgive, you are not just calming your mind, you are lightening the load your liver carries each day. That's why one of the most overlooked healing tools during detox is forgiveness. Forgiveness of self, of others, of choices you made when you didn't know better. This doesn't mean condoning harm. It means acknowledging that you no longer wish to carry the weight. Because holding on to old emotion, especially anger or resentment, is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to get sick. Letting go isn't weakness, it's biology. When you release emotional baggage, you free up energy, real metabolic energy for healing. The liver thrives in that environment. You'll begin to notice the changes. Your skin might feel clearer, your sleep deeper, your thoughts lighter. You might even notice a more consistent mood, more emotional resilience. These are not coincidences. They are signs that the body, when supported holistically, knows exactly how to heal itself. Sleep, of course, becomes sacred here. The liver does most of its regenerative work between 1 and 3 a.m. If you're awake, wired, or restless during those hours, it's often a signal that your liver is still working overtime. By ending your third day with a quiet evening, no stimulation, a light dinner, perhaps a warm herbal tea, you create the conditions for true liver regeneration to take place. This is also the perfect time to ask yourself deeper questions. Not just what food should I avoid, but what beliefs or habits am I ready to release? Because healing isn't just about what you eat, it's about how you live, what you say yes to, what you say no to, what you allow yourself to feel, what you give yourself permission to leave behind. So as day 3 draws to a close, take a moment to truly feel into your body. Breathe into your belly. Feel the quiet strength of your liver. This organ that has been working for you since the day you were born, without complaint, without pause. Feel its power, its intelligence, and its deep, deep need for you to pause and honor it in return. But because in the stillness, healing speaks. And when you learn to listen, your body begins to remember what wholeness truly feels like. The beauty of a 3-day liver detox is not just in the immediate results you may feel. Clearer skin, lighter digestion, calmer mood, sharper focus, but in what it awakens in you. A detox, when done with intention, doesn't end on the 3rd day. In fact, if approached properly, it marks a beginning. This final step is about integration. It's about moving from an isolated moment of healing to a sustained lifestyle of respect for your liver, for your body, and for the life force within you. Because the truth is, the liver doesn't just need 3 days of care. It needs a lifetime of consideration. And the small decisions you make every single day can either support its function or slowly, silently work against it. Let's be honest, it's not realistic or even necessary to live in a constant state of detox. That's not the point. The goal isn't perfection, it's awareness. When you understand how your liver works, how deeply it affects every system in your body, you start making choices not from fear or guilt, but from alignment, from self-respect, from wisdom. So how do we turn these 3 days into a lifelong rhythm? Start with the basics. Hydration doesn't stop when the detox ends. Keep beginning your mornings with warm lemon water. Continue to drink throughout the day. Herbal teas, filtered water, maybe infused with mint, cucumber, or citrus. This isn't just about flushing toxins. It's about keeping energy moving, keeping your cells vibrant. Keep your meals simple and whole. You don't need to live on salads or eliminate every indulgence. What you do need is balance. Let your plate be colorful, seasonal, and real. Include liver-supportive foods regularly. Leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, garlic, beets, avocados, turmeric, and citrus. These ingredients aren't exotic, they're accessible, affordable, and deeply nourishing. One of the most powerful, sustainable habits you can adopt is to reduce the toxic load before it ever reaches the liver. That means minimizing processed foods, not just for calories, but for chemical additives, preservatives, and artificial ingredients that tax your liver's detox pathways. Look at your environment too. Choose natural cleaning products. Be mindful of what you put on your skin, because if it can be absorbed, it ends up in the liver's inbox. Then there's emotional hygiene. Just as you brush your teeth daily, you must learn to release stress and tension regularly. The liver carries emotional residue, especially unexpressed anger, resentment, and stress. This isn't just metaphor, it's measurable in your hormones, your blood sugar, your sleep quality. So take time to breathe, journal, meditate, forgive. These aren't luxuries, they're daily maintenance. They prevent emotional congestion from becoming physical illness. They help your liver and your entire system stay clear, balanced, and light. Movement plays a role too. You don't need to be an athlete, just keep your body moving. Walk, stretch, dance, sweat gently. When you move your body, you move your lymph, your blood, your mood, and every organ, including your liver, functions better in a body that moves. Another powerful strategy is rhythm. Your liver thrives on routine. Try to eat at regular times. Sleep before midnight. Avoid late night meals, especially heavy or fatty ones. Give your liver a break during the night so it can do its essential repair work without being distracted by digestion. This doesn't mean you live in a box or fear every toxin. It means you create a lifestyle that honors your biology, that understands how energy flows in the body and how you can work with it instead of against it. And sometimes it means course correcting. Maybe you've had a rough week, stress, travel, heavy food, poor sleep. That's okay. You don't need guilt. You need restoration. That's when you bring back a mini detox, maybe just one day, maybe just a reset with herbal teas, light meals, and quiet reflection. These small acts, when done consistently, are more powerful than any dramatic cleanse done once a year. What we're really talking about here is relationship. You are building a relationship with your liver, with your health, with yourself. And the more you nurture that relationship, the more resilient your body becomes. You don't just bounce back from stress, you move through it with strength. You don't just avoid disease, you cultivate vitality. So let this 3-day experience be more than a memory. Let it be a mirror, showing you what your body feels like when it's supported, respected, and heard. Let it remind you of the intelligence within you, the healing that's always available when you get quiet enough to listen. Your liver is not just an organ, it's a compass. And when you choose to care for it daily, it quietly guides you toward balance, clarity, and vibrant, lasting health.